My name is Josh Brahm with Equal Rights Institute, and we're taking a close look at the Reversing Road documentary.
There is no other medical procedure, none, not one, that is legislated in the way that abortion is.
Well, yeah, it's the medical procedure that many in our society believe to be killing babies. Like, as an analogy, imagine someone arguing in response to the slavery abolition movement, once it started effectively passing laws against the slave trade, someone saying, no single kind of purchase is more regulated than the purchasing of slaves. You're like, well, yeah, that doesn't prove anything. Most purchases are amoral, like not moral or immoral. They're just, they don't have a moral property to them, like they're amoral. And so are most medical procedures. This medical procedure, though, a lot of our society believes is actually killing babies. And so, of course, it's legislated more than breast exams or something like that.
Because this language and messaging around defunding Planned Parenthood has been so pervasive, I think the general population believes that defunding Planned Parenthood means not paying for abortions. But in fact, by law, no federal dollars go to pay for abortion.
All right, so this is a really tired argument from people that have to know better. But just in case you're confused, let me make an analogy. Imagine that a foundation decided to give a big grant to Equal Rights Institute. Let's say they decided to do that a year ago. This would have been awesome. This didn't happen. This is a thought experiment. But let's say that the foundation said, look, we're excited about everything that you do. The only thing we're not excited about is making videos. Like, we know that you're moving in a direction of wanting to make more videos. We're not excited about that. We're excited about the speaking, the writing, the trips, the outreaches, things like that. So the only stipulation on this, let's say they gave $20,000. The only stipulation is you can't buy cameras and video camera equipment. You can't buy microphones, things like that. But you can pay for salaries, you can pay for rent, you can pay for trips, basically anything else. Now, that would still help us to buy the video equipment though, right? Because the video equipment came out of the same pot as the rent and the trips, a big pot called the general fund. It would be weird for the foundation to think that they played no part at all in helping us to put together a small video studio, which we've done in the last year. Even if we earmarked their large donation for other things. Like, we could still do that. And this happens sometimes. People sometimes give us donations and they're earmarked for a certain thing. And we completely honor that. But it would be weird for the person to think that in most cases there is complete separation, because everything sort of has an effect on other things when multiple things are being paid for out of the same pot. Now, let's take that analogy a step further. If again, assuming they say you just can't buy cameras and lights and things like that, you can pay for salaries and rent and anything else. That would even more help us to put together a video studio, because we could pay for video studio rent with that money. I mean, like, a quick behind the scenes peek, we're getting ready to move from 2 tiny little offices that 4 of our full-time staff have been working out of for roughly the last year into a larger space that a church we know has bought and renovated for office space for different ministries. And so we're going to be paying more in rent, but part of that is because we're going to now have a dedicated video studio where we can set up these cameras and lights and just have it all set up and ready to make lots of short YouTube videos, as opposed to what we've had to do today. Where literally I'm at this awesome guy's house and we brought all the stuff here and set up the cameras and the lights and the microphones, and there was a whole process to it. Like, we're going to be slower at making videos if we always have to do that, which is why we want to have a studio set up so we can just make short videos whenever we want. But just the point is, it would be so weird if then the foundation felt like, hey, we had nothing to do with the fact that ERI is better equipped to make videos now because they couldn't technically use our dollars to pay for cameras. It's like, yeah, but we had more money in the general fund to pay for cameras now because they gave us money that we could use to pay for rent and other things. So this argument that, hey, tax dollars, that go to Planned Parenthood are earmarked for other things, okay, that means it's easier for Planned Parenthood to pay the light bill and everything else. So I can't imagine that a full-time abortion practitioner like Dr. Colleen McNicholas doesn't understand that. It's really hard for me to imagine this is like an innocent mistake. It seems pretty deceptive to me.